So welcome everyone to Small Farm Living. My name is Julie, and today we are going to be doing some final fall cleanup in the gardens to get them ready for the winter. But I just wanted to show you some of the beauty that is still lingering on, even though the days are getting shorter and it's getting cooler, the leaves are changing color. But just look at this gorgeous blue sky. So we're going to take advantage of this and get down to the garden and do some work. So here are my tomatoes, and you can see I really do have quite a few left on here, but the problem is there won't be enough time for them to fully ripen before the frost. And let me show you what else the problem is. Okay, so this is one of the tomatoes. See this little hole right here? And then this one. Look at this. I have mice, and I'm pretty sure it's mice. We do have a lot of squirrels around here too. I'm not sure if they actually chew on the tomatoes, but for whatever reason this time of year they are just attacking my tomatoes. And I have tried to ripen my tomatoes, like without this on here obviously, but pick them when they are starting to blush, and I will show you a picture of what they are doing. I've never really had so much trouble as I have this year with them pruning. You see how they're in this picture, how they're all like shriveled up and pruny. And the problem isn't enough water, because they do get a lot of water. I did read that for ripening them, you need to keep them in kind of a warm, humid area. And so I don't know if I just don't have enough moisture where I'm trying to ripen them. But unfortunately, all these are going to go in the Kubota down to the burn pile, and I'm sure the deer will have a heyday with them. Now I'm just going to pull out all of the tomato bushes, and they are kind of heavy because they are really laden with tomatoes, and it does make me sad that almost every single one that has even started to blush from dark green into the lightning stage, the mice have either put skid marks on them with their teeth, they look bruised, and as I showed you, some have little holes and many have chew marks in them. So it's just not worth it for me to go through every single one of these plants and pick any that might be good out, simply because everything is just pruning on me, and it is so frustrating. But I do have a lot of tomato products put up, so I will be all right. And now this is probably a very strange sight for some people, me sweeping my garden, but I use the black weed mat here, and I have to because we are kind of in the middle of agricultural fields, and I get every weed known to man blowing onto my property. And if I don't have this down, I would have a weed problem. But I do need to keep this swept up and all of this debris off, because it will break down and turn into a soil-like product, and the weeds will just happily germinate on top of my weed mat. So by doing this, I have had really great luck. This is, I think, my 7th year with this same weed mat down, and I don't have any issues with anything trying to grow on the top. So I'm just going to finish getting this all swept up so it's nice and tidy. And many of these tomatoes would normally go to the chickens, but they have had so many treats that their little bodies need a rest from treats for a little while. So these will just go down to the burn pile, because tomatoes, as you know, can harbor diseases, and it's just one of the plants that I choose not to compost, just to be on the safe side. So I'm going to just get these dumped in the burn pile here. And then just wanted to show you our little wooded section that we have. Just how fun it is to look up through it. Sometimes I forget to look up, and it really is pretty. I have this awesome DeWalt electric trimmer or clipper, and it is fantastic when you have anything with a thicker stem, and it really saves your hands from trying to clip things off. Now these peppers do have a thicker woody stem down here at the base, so I'm just going to go in and chop them off. You see how thick that is? And I do leave that stalk, and I leave the roots of both the tomatoes and the peppers in the ground over winter, because the worms happily eat them. And as they decay, they just, in the spring, I can just grab a hold of that and pull them out, no problem. So I'm just going to use this pruner. It really makes my life so much easier. You do just have to be sure and keep your fingers away. You don't want to accidentally get your finger in there. I'm just going to grab bundles of these, get them put into the Kubota. Speed this up for you a little bit. It's just kind of my reflection time down here in the garden. Reflection of the year, all of the product that I've been really blessed with. And many of the peppers that you see on here, any of them that aren't soft, I will give to friends. And these are actually going to go in my compost pile because there is no diseases or anything on them. And I love my little dump truck. My little dump truck, I call it. My husband got this for me to make my life a little bit easier, and I so appreciate that. So here we have our 2 rows all nice, clean, and tidy. And I just want to show you what is left here. You can see how I've pulled most of the food products out. Previous videos we pulled out the beans. I got the snapdragons pulled out because they can get rust. But these are straw flowers, and I have just been clipping off the heads and drying the heads as they get mature enough. I will leave these in here, and I will also leave the rest of the flowers down here in the bed. And the reason why is because a lot of beneficial insects overwinter and take shelter in the plants. And then there's a lot of seed in many of these plants that the little birds that you can hear chirping there in the background, they eat. So it's just a win-win for me all the way around. There are many times I would really like to have all of these pulled out so I don't have to deal with the mess in the spring. But overall, the benefits, again, the worms will eat the decaying matter. This is my Rudbeckia Sahara, and they didn't turn out to be such a great cut flower, which is what I grow here, so I'm going to move those if any live over. And this is my Ageratum, and you see how the bees are still enjoying this? That's partially why I like to leave the flowers in here as well, because the pollinators, up until the last minute that there just isn't anything available left for them, I know that I've provided them all that I can. And the zinnias, they're just so pretty. Just this time of year, having this bright pop of color still existing down here in the garden is so much fun. And if you watched a previous video, you know the doubles are my favorite, and these pinks, they just show off in the fall. I feel like they really just get happier with a little bit cooler weather. And this is part of the Queen Lime series, the oranges and the reds. And the intensity of the colors is so much prettier in the fall. So that first one was the reds, and this is the Queen Lime Orange. And this down here is just called Queen Lime. And you see how they have these cute little pinkish looking centers? They're just gorgeous. I am going to leave some of my celosia. Most of it I did pull out because it is very prolific at reseeding, and I always end up with volunteers no matter what I do. But I'm going to leave these in here and enjoy them for as long as I can. So just kind of a short video on some of the cleanup we're doing for fall and how things are going to end up looking until we're ready to tackle this bed again in the spring. I hope y'all have a great week, and I hope to see you next time.